Hi, I'm John Hamilton, an associate broker with Windermere Real Estate, and I'm here today with Ed Campbell of Metro National Title. He's a good friend. I've known him for many years, and Ed is going to answer some questions about Utah title insurance. A lot of the people may have an interest in title insurance or what the purpose of title insurance is. Well, how would you answer that?
Title insurance, what we do is we insure your real estate transaction. For most people, their most valuable possession is their home. So we want to make sure they got good, clear title. And I think the number one thing that we insure is that they have marketable titles. So when they get ready to sell it, they don't have problems.
Can you tell us, Ed, some of the history of title insurance, when it first evolved?
Well, title insurance companies have been around a little over 100 years, but title insurance itself has become more of a thing since World War II. They came about because prior to World War II, title companies did things called abstracts, which was a document-by-document copy of everything that's been recorded against a particular piece of property. But it didn't offer any insurance. It didn't protect you. It just, this is what it is. Now you make your decision. But with title insurance, we actually insure the transaction, ensure that you have title, and if there's a defect, you can actually file a claim under that title insurance policy.
In Utah, is it a requirement that people have to have title insurance?
There is no requirement. No state laws that tell you to do that. There are some things where it is required. If you're getting a loan from a lender, they're going to require title insurance because they won't be able to sell their loan to an investor if there's no title insurance. So first mortgages are always have title insurance. Sometimes second mortgages do. Sometimes second mortgages don't. It's just up to the lender on that.
Is title insurance really necessary?
I think it's necessary. I mean, it's not, there's no state law that requires you to get that, but you want this valuable asset of yours protected and know that nobody's going to come make a claim on your house and say, oh, I own this house. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things. There can be fraud. You can have people that forge. So we protect you against those kinds of claims.
Have you had any unusual circumstances, any situations that have come up over those years?
Well, we had a really interesting one just happened last year where there was a gravel pit being sold, and it was like for $3 million. And we prepared the title report and sent it out to the attorneys that were involved. And they didn't look at the title report very closely because we had found a deed where one of the previous owners back in 1940 had deeded the gravel rights and all the mineral rights on that property to the state of Utah. So these people would have bought a property, they were expecting that they could mine gravel off of that, and the state of Utah owned the rights to it. So it ended up killing the deal because the property was basically worthless. But that came up through a title examination, and so sometimes you can't fix everything, but in this case, it kept the people from buying a property that was valueless.
Tell us the difference between types of insurance, for example, the different types of title insurance that are possible, and also how it differs from a homeowner's policy of insurance.
Title insurance is a little bit different from your standard types of insurance in that we are more of a risk management type of thing. We figure out what's wrong with the property and then take care of those problems before we do the closing. And so chances are you're probably never going to file a claim against that because we've done a good job doing our research and determine what all the problems are. Now, the types of insurance coverages that we have, there's two basic ones. There's the owner's policy, which is for the new buyer when they buy the property. It protects their interest. And then there's the lender's policy, which ensures the lender that they are in a first or second lien position depending on the transaction. And that is good for as long as the loan is still being paid off. Once it's paid off, the insurance expires because there's nothing to insure. But within the owner's policy, there are different kinds, two basic different kinds. There's the standard, which protects you against someone else having interest in your property, an improperly signed document, forgery, any kind of violation of restrictive covenants, and we ensure that the title is marketable. But there's an additional policy, which in the state of Utah, the standard contract, which we call the REP-C, Real Estate Purchase Contract, defaults to what's called the homeowner's policy. And that offers a lot more coverages. It has zoning protection, it has mechanics liens protection, it has encroachments. If there's any kind of encroachment, say your building encroaches onto somebody else's property or onto an easement, it insures against unprotected easements, and again, parties that claim an interest that didn't come up of the record.
When people get title insurance, when they acquire a property, how long does that title insurance, how long is it good for?
The title insurance is a one-time premium that lasts forever. You are protected forever. So let's say you sell a home and there is a defect, and the people that you sold it to, maybe 10 buyers down the road, file a suit against you because you caused some sort of defect. You're still protected, even if you don't even own the home.
I'd like to thank you very much, Ed. It's been a pleasure. And I'd like to mention that Ed is, of course, with Metro National Title. Here, his office is in Midvale, Utah. And the connection with Ed will be in the description below that you can find.
Well, I can tell you, I've really enjoyed working with you, John. You're one of the best real estate agents I've worked with. You've always been very professional, and one thing I've noticed is you really care about your clients. You want to make sure they get a good deal and that it's taken care of properly so that you don't have a loss and that you make a good investment.
Thank you, my friend.
You're welcome.
Okay. There's an old German saying, we grow too soon old and too late smart.